Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here. We're back with another video showing off regime Nightwing taking 0 basic damage. It's kind of a showcase of the new Gingold Soda, but also a little bit of a showcase of Nightwing with this new ability.
Right, so we're just going to scrub through these first two fights, I think, because the first fight, the idea that people have been saying that this ability to take no basic damage is overpowered, it's not entirely true because there's only a very specific application to it.
Yeah, but we're going to be showing that off here. So we're going to be showing him punching way above his weight class.
Right.
So as you can see, right, we're playing a Flashpoint team, so we're going to show you just how, even with a Flashpoint team, you know, this fight's still fast, but it's definitely not immediate, right? Even doing crap tons of damage.
Right. And we're doing it in a way we're trying to showcase it. So that means we're not going to put him in a situation where he'll fail with Dawn of Justice Batman, where when he dodges it, he's going to come back and hit you.
Yeah. And
that kind of hit, he's not going to have enough health to withstand it. So we'll switch up the team. All right, so just to summarize, Gingold Soda reduces basic damage by 30%. The Killer Croc companion gear reduces it by another 20%, and his own passive reduces it by 50%.
Yeah, so that's 0%.
Yeah, if it calculates that way, because it was geometric instead of just additive.
It would never be 0%, yeah.
Right. So, and the other guys are just, fillers, because you can't take a team with only one person.
Yeah, so, but as you can see, they won't be able to do anything.
So here's the key part, why this isn't that great in general, but is spectacular in very specific situations. So, it takes 2 gear slots to reduce his basic damage to 0, like this. Right, he's taking 0 damage, he's building up power. Yeah. And because we are in offline play, we get power better than they do. So by getting hit, we get more power than they do hitting us. But it also means that we've only got 1 slot to boost our damage.
Yeah, so we basically, if you want to play against people with way more resources than you, like this, you basically have to have the Ibis stick or something else. If you're killing multiple people, I guess you could always have the Soul Taker sword. But you still have to kill one person.
You still have to knock out the first guy. And by the time they tag in and out, by the time you knock out one, you're probably you've done a bunch, or I guess as much as you can on each. So when you've got something like the Ibis, like you're saying, that scales up to the health of the person that you're attacking, 10% I think is probably the best damage over time that you can get. Yeah. And all right, so besides the awkwardness of not blocking, which I hate doing, but you have to in a fight like this. If you don't use that gear, you can be a great tank. Yeah. But all it means is you're gonna have a long fight. It'll take you a long time to lose.
Yeah, and the main draw, I think, is specifically that not only does he take no damage from basic damage, but he has a first special power drain. Right? So that's what really allows him, especially when you're not worried about tag out. And that's why we have it against the bosses, is because this is the best kind of example of an ideal situation in which we're not having any risk, which is the main risk with this guy, is somebody tagging in and whacking you with a special.
Right, because you're totally vulnerable to specials.
Yeah.
So so here's the thing too. I don't think there's anybody else who's quite, except for maybe Godfall Superman, who's quite as ideal for this kind of loadout. So Godfall Superman, everybody who blocks basics will block 25%. So that will bring down to 75% with this loadout.
Yeah.
Godfall Superman happens to reflect damage too, so that boosts it up to another half of what's left, I think. So he ends up not taking damage, but he blocks. You block with him, he takes no damage, and each reflected hit generates power for you still. So you're doing damage to them at the same time as you're blocking. You're generating power. The difficulty is, all right, so one, it's not as impressive when you're doing it with a gold character as when we're doing it with basically a silver and empty suits.
Yeah.
But he's actually in some ways maybe a bit more vulnerable because he's going to be taking damage from specials. He can't drain like we're doing.
Yeah, so the draining is really necessary. I think if you didn't have drain, what you would want is to, again, if you for some reason have the passive, you want something like Razagul Scimitar,
or overpowered pill,
or overpowered
super. Sorry,
that's true. If you're fighting people who are more closely matched your stats, so that you could actually afford to not have the Ibis stake on them. But I think that's the crux of the issue. Is it's really cool. As you can see, it's useful. It feels a little funky to not block, and it's just because it takes up 2 of your gear slots, there's a lot of stuff you could do if you had 2 gear slots after you were taking 0 basic damage. There's a lot of stuff you can do. You could, you know...
Right, and
power
it's
drain.
more of like a... Except for, again, in this specific situation, it's more of a party trick than anything else.
Yeah, gimmick.
Because I would actually rather just block the hits and have that be my 25% instead of having his passive take over all of it. Do a lot less damage, but have a bit more offensive potential.
Yeah.
So, I guess the only thing that might be different, because I was watching not watching, I was reading in the forum how somebody was struggling with finishing off Blackest Night Superman at the top of this ladder, right? So this is, like you said, this is the 8th page. It's a battle right before the bonus battle, and people were struggling with Blackest Night Superman because he's got, on his card it says he's got about 500,000 health. In practical purposes, he's actually got probably twice as much as that, because the number of hits that it takes to actually bring him down when you're not doing what we're doing with the Ibis stick is a lot more. All right, so now we need more dead weight.
Deathstroke.
We don't really
Just
care
for
who
power.
it is. Oops. Yeah, we just need a body. We need warm bodies.
Yeah, because we're not going to swap them in. We're not going to use anybody else.
Well, Wally West is coming up. All right, so that's another case. So what you're going to run into trouble is with people who do non-basic damage to you.
That's true.
And Wally West is one of those. Sort of like Dawn of Justice, he'll punish you for specials. We need to do specials if we have any hope of finishing this fight instead of just waiting out our 3 minutes and losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, it's good. It's interesting. He makes a really good tank, except the way I normally play a tank is I bring him into eat specials. So it's not quite. It seems like a good idea.
But it's and part of that you can chalk up to the difference in play style, right? The specificity with which you play definitely blocks off some avenues of play.
Yeah. Now the cool thing is, because so much of the damage has been crit, even on the damage over time, it doesn't take 10 specials, right? Because that'd be 10% each for 10 specials. So it's taking, I think, mostly about 7 specials, if I was paying attention and counting. And I guess the other advantage too is when you have Ibis stick, because it's burning, they generate less power.
Yeah.
So the chance of them catching up to us where they have a special before we have one is basically nil. Well, he just needs a touch. There we go.
There we go.
All right, so I guess we can try it out. Wally West, if he dodges the special and hits us once or twice, I think we're going to be out.
That's true.
We could swap out, but you know what? Yeah. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
Let's see how much we get through, and then if we need to, we'll put back in the Flashpoint team just to get past them.
Take some risks.
So, yeah, here is the thing. I'd only consider it overpowered if... All right, let's see. If he was more useful in other situations, but this is very limited, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of boss ladders, and definitely not that useful in Survivor where you're fighting a team of 3. All right, there's
Perfect.
one.
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh, 2. All right, we're getting away with something that feels like I'm, you know, it's like that commercial with IKEA where they get to the car and they say, "Come on, run," because they feel like they got away with the skill. All right, so here now we're in trouble. So that's
if he blocks, is there a chance for him to, like, will his thing not trigger?
I don't know if that matters.
I think it might not trigger if he blocks.
Well, we can see also that his passive takes more than half of our health when it triggers.
Yeah.
And we still need, I think, at least 2 more specials. So we need to get lucky 2 more times.
1. Oh.
Oh, there we
Well,
go.
now, yeah.
And I guess if the worst thing that happens is that Nightwing gets knocked out, we can still, when we tap a little love tap, we could bring in the other 2 guys to knock him out.
Yeah, so you can see even in this kind of situational advantage, it's not even unilaterally good. It's not even always just the best. So there's definitely shortcomings. I think a lot of them for a lot of scenarios, but it's fun.
Yeah, if we're gonna say something about any of the recent gears being overpowered, really it's gonna be Tantu Totem, right? There's no, in my mind, Gingold Soda is interesting. One trick pony.
Yeah.
Not. I mean, clearly, people have been some people have been struggling getting through Blackest Night Superman, and this is not going to be a problem at all. Wally West was more difficult than this, but yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to say about it. Good to have you back. Glad you're not sick.
Yeah, good to be back.
And it is sometimes when you the graphics have really gotten worse with the last update. You can see it when you look at somebody who's got large swaths of the same color, like on Superman's leg, for example. The texture, they've removed a lot of the resolution, right?
Yeah.
And it looks, I don't know what the word for it is. It looks more cartoony, a little mushy. It looks less realistic, which is a little disappointing. So I hope they come back with that. But it wouldn't surprise me if they did that specifically so that it would run faster, smoother. Ooh,
compatibility. Well, it's easier to just make stuff look crappier than it is to have your game optimized better.
That's true. All right, there we go. I think we did a decent accounting of ourselves, and so did Nightwing.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the last fight.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.